Hey loves, Chad Pumman here. I'm officially back from Peru. It's been about a week, and I wanted to sit down and share a video with you about my experience with ayahuasca and San Pedro as sacred medicines, as healing medicines. I just tried to shoot the video and it went really long, so I'm going to try and do an abbreviated version. If you're looking for a more detailed description of my experience with ayahuasca, feel free to check out my website and my blog, which I can I'll put in the description of this video. But basically, just want to share that I had an opportunity to connect with Rainbow Men's Retreats. We went to Peru. We did a Inca Trail the first week, over 3 or 4 days, 30 some miles. And then week 2 was all about our sacred medicine journey. We were in Pisac, Peru, and we were in the Sacred Valley, and we went up to a retreat center that was about 40 minutes outside of Pisac, and we spent 3 nights there. I had an opportunity to participate in the first ayahuasca ceremony, and I chose not to participate in the second day. In part, what I learned afterwards is that oftentimes the first ayahuasca ceremony is an opportunity for purging and cleansing of the body and preparing, and the second ceremony is where you have your kind of spiritual experience. And so I was very fortunate that my first ayahuasca experience on day 1, there was no purging, there was no diarrhea, and I had my spiritual experience. I achieved my intention, and I got everything I needed from day 1. So I chose not to participate in day 2. It's also a very taxing, there's a dieta that is recommended. The retreat center recommended that you follow it for 2 weeks in advance of the ayahuasca experience. Some of that included not having any meat products, pork, any kind of beef or chicken, even no fish leading up to it, avoiding dairy products, avoiding salt, pepper, and spicy foods, and also cold drinks, ice cream, and then no sex for 2 weeks leading up to the experience. And the idea is to conserve your energy, to have no other spirits in your body, and to prepare your body as much as possible, and to look at it as a preparation for the medicine and not as a, being penalized or something like that. So I did that to the best of my ability, and the guidance that I got from others that were also participating, including our guide for Rainbow Men's Retreats. And so we were really strict the last 3 days prior to the ayahuasca. When we arrived to the center, we had an opportunity to do a cleansing ceremony with the shaman that would be in the retreat center later that evening. He had us all get in the creek, and he blessed us and prayed for us and did his thing. And then we also met with a psychiatrist to get cleared, and we had previously turned in medical documentation too, or I did, and so I got medically cleared, I got psychiatrically cleared. And prior to the ayahuasca ceremony, we also had an hour-long meditation that we did with a young woman who helped us do some breath work, do some meditation, prepare, do some yoga, stretching, and really be mindful of our intention, and think about reciprocity, this idea that we were here to have an experience, but to have a lot of gratitude for the culture, the people, and the medicine that we would be partaking in, and not to take it for granted. And so that was kind of all of the preparation that we had. There was also 2 female shaman guides that were in the room, aside from the medical staff and the psychiatrists that stayed throughout the night, that were there to share in the experience. They also took ayahuasca, and from time to time they would sing for hours on end specific ayahuasca songs to assist folks going through their journey. And so that was a really powerful experience. And the room was very dark. There was only a candle in the middle of the room to help with grounding. And each participant, there was 18, I think 17 ended up staying all together. We each had kind of this comfortable mattress that we could sit or lay down on. There were pillows, there were blankets to keep us warm because there was no heat in the temple. And so there was a lot that went into just kind of preparing and sitting in this space. And so I started out with a quarter shot of ayahuasca. And I was very intentional about reiterating my intentions, which were to know more about some historical experiences that had happened to me that helped form my struggle with addiction, both to drugs and to sex, and also to become a better healer, how I could become a better healer and working with folks in my own private practice, etc. And so those were my intentions. And I would say that the first quarter ayahuasca shot lasted about, an hour or two. And I had some visuals with it. I felt like I could see my veins. I felt like I could feel the blood pumping through my body. I wouldn't say there was a lot of colors, but definitely the sense of the medicine kind of working its way through me. As I mentioned, I didn't experience any purging or vomiting or diarrhea during my ceremony. And as it kind of like snapped out of it at one point, and they were coming around at that time to see if anybody wanted any additional medicine, and I said yes. And so I took another quarter shot, and so a half a shot total of ayahuasca. And that was like jumping on a jet plane, because within a half hour, I went from 0 to 1,000, and the experience was super, super intense. I would say almost like a roller coaster, but I really had to at times engage in my breath work. I had to just breathe. I had to be present. I had to be open to what the medicine was showing me. It got super intense really, really quick. And one of the things they tell you is that you can't really come out of it. There is a shot that they can give you to snap you out of it, but I didn't want to do that because I guess it can create a pretty miserable experience, especially the day after. And that was not why I was there. I was there to have the experience. And so what happened to me during my ayahuasca experience, aside from the visuals and the intense just body experience, my body was very warm. I started to have encounters with persons that I had early sexual experiences with. And I was able to be in that space with that person. I was able to experience what happened. I was able to feel it in my body where it was happening to me. And at the same time, I began to release it from my body and to state that I forgive, right? One of the meditation guidance that we got, and one of the questions during the initial psych assessment was, who do you need to forgive, or what forgiveness do you want to engage in as you participate in this ayahuasca experience? So the table was set, and so this was a beautiful opportunity to take some of those early sexual experiences, to re-experience them as they came to me, to accept that they happened, to feel where they existed in my body, to release them from my body, to forgive the other person that was involved in those experiences, including acknowledging my part in it and releasing it and letting it go and no longer hanging on to it. So that was like the first half of that really powerful journey. And I just kept getting hit, and after a while, I was just like, that's really a lot. It's a lot. And so it was really kind of emotionally draining at the same time, but it was super powerful. And then it just kind of transitioned. So I started to have an opportunity to just invite different people into my ayahuasca experience. So I thought about my husband and the fact that we're separating, but he really presented as an angel in my life, and how grateful I am that he is in my life. I thought about my sister, who has a lot of struggle as of late, and the medicine was like, that's her journey. There's nothing you can do to support her at this time. And so to let go, but to love. And so it was just all of those different experiences. Did I get the answer to my question? I think I definitely, as far as the intention about being shown what type of experience I had early on around sexual experiences. I feel like I received that, I processed it, I was able to feel it in my body and let it go. As far as my intention of becoming a better healer, I think it was being present, and letting go and not being in control. So much of the time, I think that I personally just, love to be in control, love to manipulate and set the world a stage and have it be my play and be the director. And at the end of the day, when you engage in ayahuasca, you are not the director. They refer to ayahuasca as grandmother ayahuasca, and she is very much in charge. And so throughout that experience, I continue to reiterate my gratitude for grandmother ayahuasca, the medicine, the historical nature of the people and the culture that made this whole experience possible. The fact that I was able to be there and be present in that space, and to have those shamans singing that music, and the shaman to bless me, and the space to be there, and the resources to show up, like profound gratitude. And so I think that was the medicine that I get to then take forward in the work that I get to do with others. And so I had an opportunity to participate in a second ayahuasca ceremony the second night, and I chose not to. I really needed to nourish my body. I needed to catch up on some sleep, and I really felt like that was the best decision for me. And the next day I felt incredible. I really didn't have any negative experience. I was told that to be aware that more downloads potentially would be coming in the weeks and months ahead, and to be respectful of the experience that I had with the ayahuasca. They did recommend for another 10 days to continue with the dieta. Many of us did not do so great with that, and especially me with the sex too, kind of jump back into that. But yeah, so that was my ayahuasca experience at the retreat center. And I want to briefly talk about how that contrasts with my experience with San Pedro, which is considered the grandfather San Pedro. And so that was back in Pisac, and we worked with this wonderful hermit gentleman that lived on the edge of the mountain, and he was Cactus San Pedro, Cactus Paul, I think his name was. And so we traveled over there, we met with him, he talked to us about what our potential experience was going to be. San Pedro lasts for 8 to 10 hours as opposed to the 4 to 6 hours that ayahuasca lasts. And he told us this to prepare for a really powerful experience. And he couldn't say whether it was going to be good, bad, indifferent, or whatever. And so we arrived early in the morning. We took a full shot of the San Pedro, which was like drinking green lime juice that didn't taste like lime. And I sat under a tree and meditated and shared my intention of just wanting to be present and have the experience. And bam, I was flat out on my back, and San Pedro kicked my ass. Grandfather San Pedro kicked my ass. So I was on my back, and then I started having these experiences of basically being sexually, not abused, but sexually used by the other people that were there, which was not happening, but it just felt like it was happening. I didn't feel like I had any control over my lower body. It was almost like a chemsex G'd out experience, where you're like G'd out and people are just having sex with you, but it wasn't really happening. So it was really, really intense. And at one point, one of my friends that was there and had a much easier trip came over and actually was just like massaging me. And I just kept saying, oh my God, thank you so much. I just want everybody to be kind to each other and to have a good experience. And I was just shocked, but my body, like I was just exhausted on the floor, knocked out. It was super, super intense. And then it transitioned as the evening came. There was a fireplace going, candle. A friend of mine was there, and he was like crying. And then I just basically experienced, like, I thought I was gonna die. And after researching and talking about it afterwards in an integration conversation, nobody has died from San Pedro. You can Google it. It doesn't seem to be a thing. But I thought I was going to die. And I guess what my experience, what I was told to consider, was that the experience was an ego death, that I experienced my ego death. And so as I was laying there, I was convinced I was going to die. I was thinking of my mother, and here I am in Peru at the end of this incredible journey, and how did I not know it was going to end this way? And I was just really upset about it. And eventually I was just like, but I don't want to die this way. I don't want to die this way. And so slowly I was able to kind of regain control of my body. And eventually we ended up leaving Paul's house and walking back to our hotel. And it was another 2 or 3 hours in the hotel room where I just tried to keep myself awake and distracted so that I wouldn't fall asleep and die. Super intense. So I didn't love that. Honestly didn't. It really kicked my ass. I did not have a pleasant experience. And I think my takeaway from both of those sacred medicine experiences is that not to go into them lightly. They're serious, serious medicines, to make sure that you do it with people that know what they're doing, and to be prepared for the unexpected, because you do not know what's going to happen. And I'm also told that whether it's ayahuasca or San Pedro, every experience is going to be different. So I don't have any intention of doing ayahuasca or San Pedro again. I feel like I got what I needed. I am also a person that identifies as a person in recovery, and despite being 18 months sober from my last time I used any kind of crystal meth or chem-related sex, drugs, I definitely got high from the ayahuasca and the San Pedro. They kicked my ass. But I also feel that I went there with a specific intention for a healing, and I still very much hold on to my recovery experience. And I don't count days because I don't feel that that's necessary. I feel that I have today, and I was able to participate in these really powerful experiences. And I want to take the medicine, I want to take the experience and allow it to guide me as I move forward in the future. So that is my story. So if you're interested, you can always check out Rainbow Men's Retreats. They go to Peru once a year, I think around the fall time. There's all kinds of other folks that do these types of retreats and stuff you can check out. There's other folks that do like mushroom retreats and things, but make sure, my suggestion is to really think about what your intention is, what you want to get out of it, and to be respectful. The medicine is really, really powerful. And if you're going to be engaging and going to another country to have this experience, to be respectful of the country and the culture and the people and the medicine that has created this opportunity, and not to use it as something of like getting high or just to, to experience a new drug. That's my suggestion. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions specifically, feel free to reach out. I did do a blog post in relation to my ayahuasca experience. I probably will do one as well in relation to the San Pedro. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching, and love sharing my experiences and journey with you. And if there's anything I can do for you, please say hello. Take care. Bye.